Hi guys, weather forecaster Patrick Sumner again. It was another cloudy, cold, and snowy day. In fact, when I went outside, we had these big old snowflakes coming down. Very impressive, really. For this time of year, thinking we should be in 70 degrees, and we should be near that, really. You know, it's supposed to be getting warmer now as we head into the spring months, but winter is not quite giving up yet. And let me say, try some icons here. I got these new HP icons and they're just not working. Okay. Nope, not working. I tried to give you a thumbs up because we have warmer weather on the way the next several days, but the icons aren't quite working for me. Anyhow, I'm going to be a little bit more serious today because the severe weather threat is increasing for early next week. Let's talk about a few computer models that we go over. First, the GFS. Very impressive and concerning values on the GFS for early next week, even though it's 5 days out. Let me get to that first. People ask me, Patrick, why do you mention a severe weather risk 5 to 7 days out? It's not to hype anybody, or hype anything, I'm sorry. It's not to scare anybody. But what we do is if we see a possibility or potential of severe weather to affect the area, we at least want to get the word out there because severe weather has an effect on property and lives. And that is a job of a weather forecaster or a meteorologist, is to keep you safe from the storm. That's their number one job, is to save your life when the weather is life-threatening. And so that's why we have the SPC. It's why we have the HPC. It's why we have the NHC. We have all of these weather entities to keep you safe from weather. And if I see a potential for severe weather that's anywhere between 5 and 7 days out, or even longer than that, I'm going to at least mention it because you can prepare, go buy a NOAA weather radio, go over your severe weather plans. And so this is why we mention severe weather even when it's this far away. And so now let's go over a few computer models. The GFS, which stands for the Global Forecasting System, is pretty concerning for early next week. We have CAPE values on the order of 2,000 to 2,500. JKG, we have lifted indices -6 to -8. The wind shear is very impressive. Instability is off the charts. And so all of these things, the GFS says severe weather outbreak. Now, right now, if I were to choose an area that is more likely to see severe weather, I would go further south. So let's say south central Central Kentucky all the way up until Louisville. That area right there, if in our viewing area right now, I would say has the best threat for severe weather. Even though it's fairly far out, I want to at least give some kind of an area that looks like we'll definitely see some type of severe weather as we go in early next week. Now, the further north you go, it gets a little bit more challenging. It becomes more of a challenging forecast because we just don't know how far north the warm sector is going to go. But if the GFS is correct, it's going to go fairly far north, and so then we have to include our southern Indiana counties and central Indiana counties as well in that severe weather threat for early next week. Nonetheless, per the GFS, a significant severe weather outbreak is certainly possible early next week. And the GFS has been quite consistent with this. When we see a computer model become consistent with its solution, we have to at least keep an eye on it. It raises eyebrows. Let's just say that when we see a computer model be that consistent. And so other computer models are starting to diverge a little closer to GFS, but aren't quite there yet. I do expect them to diverge toward the GFS solution as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's when the the SPC will really start hounding down on specific areas and what kind of threats. The tornado threat is certainly there on the GFS, as well as the widespread damaging winds and large hail. So something to certainly keep an eye on as we go into early next week. But when we see one computer model begin to become pretty consistent, eyebrows get raised. They go way up. And so something to keep an eye on at least. And Roger just posted on the blog a very good note. He's got the GFS parameters, exactly what they're saying, how the lifted indices, the CAPE values, the instability, the wind shear, and he explains those numbers and the supercell index and all those things on that note. So if you get a chance to check his note out, do that. Very good write-up. So thank you, Roger, for doing that earlier today. Nonetheless, The severe weather threat is increasing, as I've said before, early next week. I've said that several times now. If I could just stop saying that today. But I think you guys have got that part now. But nonetheless, and I say nonetheless all the time, by the way, so that's one thing I'm going to have to start. So if you guys, I got to stop saying nonetheless. That's one word. So if you comment on my post, just say stop saying nonetheless, stop saying. Then I'll get it. I'll get there. So, anyways, the cooler weather will be gone for the next several days. A warm-up is on the way. We're going to be hitting 60s as early as the weekend, and then there's 70 early next week, and that's also a fuel for the fire as far as severe weather is going. I want to also mention that we're also worried about timing when it comes to severe weather, and so the GFS has pretty good timing. I believe last I checked it was Monday afternoon. They have the storms moving through. I haven't checked the 12Z yet, GFS, but nonetheless, Roger's got all the parameters up on the page. But we're always worried about timing when it comes to severe weather because if we early to mid-afternoon, if storms roll through during then, that's peak heating and can really spell trouble. Now, if wind shear is impressive and all that, then it really doesn't matter almost. As we go into the overnight, we've seen that first severe weather outbreak we had was during the overnight hours, and so as you guys see, it's not always about what time these storms come through. If the wind shear is impressive and everything else is impressive, all the other parameters and ingredients are there, severe weather can be held through the night as well. And so nonetheless, I just had Burger King, and I need to belch, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it in. I don't want to do that here in front of you guys, and so no need to make y'all sick. But nonetheless, there was that nonetheless again. Keep an eye on this severe weather threat, and we'll keep you updated. Me and Roger on the page, and enjoy the warmer weather. We'll fine-tune this forecast as we get into Monday, but enjoy this warmer weather, and we'll worry about the severe weather as it gets a little closer. But we'll keep you updated again on the page, me and Roger. Roger does a great job with the severe weather aspect, and I try to do my best. And so, nonetheless, there's a nonetheless again. Anyway, we'll talk to you later, guys. Have a God-blessed one.